Call and response. Good evening. Oh, no, hell no. Good evening. Rabbis and cantors, good evening. That's it. Rabbis and cantors, good evening. Oh, man. J Street U, are you here? One more time. J Street U, are you here? Better. Good evening. My name is Alexandra Stanton. As chair of J Street's Board of Directors, it's my honor to welcome you to J Street's National Gala tonight. This is our 7th conference and our largest ever, with over 4,000 people attending, including terrific numbers of students. Look around you and you see the faces of allies. This is what it looks like to be pro-Israel, pro-peace, and anti-occupation. And please, drink in this sight. It will sustain you when Donald Trump performs his next outrage. Just remember, you're not wrong, you're not alone, but you're not allowed to be exhausted. This past year has been a time of crisis after crisis. It is so hard to stay focused when the president betrays principle after principle. It's easy to become demoralized when you see our hard-won progress be threatened, step by step. Shh. I do that to my 2 kids. So I want to thank you, all of you, for staying true to our values and staying in this fight. Donald Trump thinks he can rewrite the borders of Israel with a Sharpie pen, just like he did with Hurricane Dorian in Alabama. Well, I've got news for him. We will fight him every step of the way. We will never back down. We will win it all back, even if it takes 40 years to get to the promised land. We fight this fight not because we want to, but because we have to. You learn a lot about someone by the fights they choose. Those are important choices. They're clarion calls, and they speak volumes about someone's character, fortitude, and moral compass. So I particularly want to thank the many members of Congress who I see around this room who have chosen to stand with us. I also want to thank a great friend of J Street's, Randy Weingarten, for fighting for this country's teachers and children. Thank you for your leadership, your friendship, and your dedication. This is a dark time in both the U.S. and in Israel. Right-wing demagogues have targeted minorities, sabotaged democracy, and trampled on civil and human rights. They have betrayed the democratic values at the heart of the U.S.-Israel relationship. But Scripture tells us that joy cometh in the morning. This is the moment J Street was built for. We're great in these moments, and we're ready for these fights. We are the home of the vast majority of American Jews, of their voices and values, who reject the agenda of Trump, Netanyahu, and their far-right allies. We stand with immigrants and refugees and all those who have suffered because they don't fit Donald Trump's idea of what's an American. Let me tell you, children don't belong in cages at our borders, and Donald Trump doesn't belong in the White House. Our moral clarity has won us powerful allies. Over half the Democrats in both the House and Senate have sought out our endorsement, and we have granted it. Those are called majorities, ladies and gentlemen. In the 2018 midterm elections, we helped elect a House majority to hold this administration accountable, endorsing an additional 31 new successful House challengers around the country. When it mattered, you came through, and we raised more money than ever before. In 2020, the most important election of our lifetimes, we will do better because we have to. What's the choice? In the 2020 presidential campaign, J Street is proud to host a serious discussion of foreign policy, American leadership, and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Over the course of these 3 days, we have been honored to hear from Senator Bennett, Mayor Buttigieg, Secretary Castro, Senator Klobuchar, and Senator Sanders. Having these ongoing conversations with the field looking to help defeat Donald Trump and replace him with a pro-Israel, pro-peace champion in the White House is but one of the many actions we are taking in this presidential cycle. Friends, I know it feels like we're living through a long, dark night, but with the power of all of us in this room tonight, with all our friends and allies across the country, across Israel and the Palestinian territories, and around the world, we can turn back the tide of hatred, bigotry, and conflict. We can turn our government into a force for justice, diplomacy, and peace again. Do you remember what that felt like? A few short years ago. We can get back there. We can stand up to the occupation and help bring around a lasting two-state solution for Israelis and Arabs alike. Now, J Street in its entirety, in its gorgeous fullness, would not have been possible without the incredible generosity and magnificent commitment of so many people. I don't have time to mention them all, but I would like to thank a few of them and have their work be recognized. Shh, just like my kids. Thank you for our conference co-chairs, Nancy and Michael, for all the amazing work you did to help make this J Street's largest, most successful conference ever. Thank you to tonight's recipients of the Tzedek V'Shalom Award, Pilar Crespi-Robert and Stephen Robert, for your selfless devotion to defending human rights, expanding educational opportunities, and promoting peace in Israel and the Palestinian territory, and most of all, for your passionate support for J Street. Thank you to the members of J Street's Board of Directors and to my predecessor as chair of J Street, Mort Halperin, who has now become J Street's chair emeritus. Mort, where are you? Mort, without your leadership and vision throughout the past decade, we may well have lost our way. Your stewardship was critical to our success, and as the new chair of the board, I'm grateful for your friendship. Thank you to J Street's president, Jeremy Ben-Ami, whose visionary leadership and incredible hard work, yes, ensures that our path forward is clear, our resolve unwavering, and our politics rock solid. Thank you to the whole J Street staff, and in particular the amazing conference team led by Courtney, Allison, Brian, Lindsay, and Alyssa. We would not be here without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.